Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to AniLysis in the Animorphs universe. We're looking at Visser 3's Snake Morph today. And where do we find Visser 3's Snake Morph? We find it in Book 11, The Forgotten, when they're in the Amazon rainforest. So there's a few questions I have about this morph. But first let's go over the quotes. So it's a very brief morph. And, well, let's just go through the quotes, shall we? As the Hork-Bajir stomped on through the rainforest, something fell from a tree. It was very long, and it wrapped itself around the lead Hork-Bajir. A snake! Rachel yelled. Man, I didn't know snakes came that big, Marco said. The snake swiftly coiled around the Hork-Bajir and squeezed. The other Hork-Bajir began to slash at it. Then, get back, fools, and be glad I don't kill you all, a sneering Thought-Speak voice said. The Hork-Bajir stopped trying to free their trapped friend very suddenly. They stepped back and just watched the struggling Hork-Bajir. I knew that Thought-Speak voice. We all did. Somehow, the sound of it in your brain made you feel afraid. Once the Hork-Bajir stopped struggling, the snake began to change. From the impossibly long snake body, an Andalite grew. What are you fools doing? The Visser asked in deceptively calm tones. He looked at the human controller. The human controller turned several shades lighter than his natural colour. We were following all your orders, Visser. To destroy any animals that don't belong here because they could be Andalite bandits. And you thought perhaps the trees were Andalites as well? No, it was... The Visser raked his Andalite tail forward and pressed the blade against the man's throat. Did it occur to you that the bug fighter is less than 100 yards from here? Did it occur to you that Dracon beams travel a long way? Did it occur to you that we cannot get back to our own time without that bug fighter? And did it occur to you that I might be in Morph? And that you might end up shooting me? And that's it, that's Visser 3's Snake Morph, its brief cameo in this series. So I have several questions. Firstly, what snake is this? Marco says, I didn't know snakes got that long. So let's look at the Amazon rainforest and what snake species they have there. They have boa constrictors, which are pretty large snakes, but not particularly long. Relatively, I mean, what you'd think of when you thought of big snake, it's pretty modest. But something like the green anaconda, now that's a biggie. That's one of the biggest snakes in the world. So the green anaconda can get up to, say, about 6 meters long, which is very long, okay? So that would cause Marco to say, I didn't know they got that long. They live in the Amazon rainforest and they do occasionally climb trees. So this snake that came down from the tree, yeah, it's not as if, I mean, they are semi-aquatic, but they do still climb trees, so that is still a believable thing. So I reckon it is a green anaconda. Also the fact that it constricts, because snakes tend to be either venomous or constrictors, one of the two. And this one clearly constricts this Hork-Bajir. And so it is a non-venomous constricting animal that is very long and can be in the trees. And there's the green anaconda. It's not named in the book, hence why we have to use implications as to what this creature is, but I'm pretty certain it's meant to be an anaconda. You could argue that maybe it isn't an anaconda, and why would you make that argument? You could say, you know, Visser 3 has this morph. It's never mentioned necessarily that he acquired that morph while he was in the Amazon. And you have other big snakes around the world, for example, something like the Burmese python or the reticulated python, also very long, big snakes. It could potentially be that. But I'm still erring on the side of this is an animal he maybe acquired in the... I don't know, it is hard to say, and we don't get given any information. Did he acquire it in the Amazon rainforest, or did he already have a snake morph and think, I'm going to morph snake here for whatever reason? Which does lead us on to another question. Why was he in this morph? So before we move on to those questions, I'm just going to finish my headcanon, which is that he did actually acquire this snake in the rainforest, and it was a green anaconda. That's the one he's used here. And he uses it to drop down on one of the Hork-Bajir and constrict it to... I mean, did he constrict it to the point of unconsciousness or death? It sort of implies death, but then it's redundant anyway because this timeline doesn't end up happening. So it's largely irrelevant. What does become relevant then is that if he did acquire this snake in this timeline, within this Saria Rip, then he would no longer have it once everything was restored. Anyway, yeah, back to the other question. Why is Visser 3 doing this? Why is he there? He says in that second quote, "You could have shot me. I'm very offended." Which leads to the question of, well, why were you there then? If you've asked us to shoot animals in the forest, you then decide to go be an animal in the forest. It's not the controller's fault necessarily. Yeah, they're a bit, you know, bit wild and wacky with their shooting, but you really haven't helped yourself in this situation, have you? What was his purpose? To spy on the controllers? Well, why did he need to be in Snake? Why did he need to put himself in danger in order to do that? He's got flying creatures. He's got the Kafit bird, for example. Why doesn't he just fly overhead? And it's actually better, you know, if it's a Kafit bird. Or is it? Because he does say, shoot anything that doesn't belong here. But if he told his controllers, shoot everything that doesn't belong here except the Kafit bird, because I'm going to morph the Kafit bird or whatever weird animal I'm going to morph this time to spy on you while you do your thing. Why didn't you just do that instead of going undercover in a susceptible morph? You idiot, Visser 3. Honestly, this morph does feel pointless. It doesn't need to be there. Because he's got the Lurd attack and stuff like that, you know. Controllers aren't going to shoot one of these monster morphs because they're going to automatically think, Visser 3. So they won't do that, and they'll probably act a bit more cautious rather than shooting everything that moved / didn't move. But no, Visser 3 just decides to be a tit, really, doesn't he? Backtracking a bit though, because you know how I do these ad-lib. This does happen occasionally. The fact that Visser 3 says shoot anything that doesn't belong in this rainforest goes back to when we were talking about, did he acquire it in this rainforest or did he acquire a Burmese python somewhere else and use that morph? That pretty much actually answers that question of he acquired this snake in this rainforest. Because I don't imagine Visser 3's got an encyclopedic knowledge of what snake species you find in the Amazon. So he probably just thought, oh, there's a snake there, acquire that, and go be that animal in this space while telling my controls to shoot things that don't belong in this space, hence I should be safe. Obviously being a bit naive there, Visser 3. But would you say that an anaconda is a very good morph for spying on your subordinates? Because, funnily enough, in trees, they're not going to move very fast at all. So it was just a mighty coincidence that in all this forest, the controllers happen to be doing the thing right beneath where Visser 3 is sitting in his anaconda morph. It's not like he's flying through the trees after them, is he? No, they just happen to go there. Well, Visser 3, what if you were spying on them, but they happened to walk the other way? What then, Sonny Jim Malarkey? Yeah, it's a stupid morph. It doesn't make sense. I think it's just for drama. This morph was put in the book just for, oh look, a snake morph. Oh look, there's a big snake in the Amazon. How are we going to write that into the script? Visser 3 morphs one briefly. Yeah, I don't like this morph. It doesn't belong. It doesn't get explained very well, and it's just there for shock value, honestly. So, boo! Green anaconda suspected morph. Go away. Yeah, there's pretty much no reason to the morph. Let's be perfectly honest. So let's discard that now. We've done Visser 3's snake morph. And let's find out what's in the next AniLysis. Same as last time, in the Spin the Wheel game today, we've got everything from Book 1 up to and including Book 27, Alternamus 1, the first 2 Chronicles, and the first 2 Megamorphs. So we could have anything from, the Acne-Faced Worker, Matcom, all the way down to the Helmicron Captain. That could be a fun one. But let's see what happens in Spin the Wheel game. Let's go! Wahoo! As Italian plumbers would say. What's it going to be today? Will it be a pizza pie? We've already done Santorini's. The EGS Tower. The EGS Tower. Funnily enough, that was a major part of one of the board games. So, yeah. Book 7, here we come. Going back in time now by about 4 books. Yeah, stay tuned for that one. The EGS Tower will be coming up next week, as of this video going up. Thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you somewhere else in the Animos universe. Probably actually the EGS Tower. So, see you there. Ta-ra!